Hi guys, my name is Michael Gatewood and I want to go over some Photoshop fails. I've been working in this program for a very long time and I've noticed a lot of people talking about things that have been manipulated, magazines, brochures, catalogs. What I'd like to do is talk with you a little bit about the history, what Photoshop's done, what Photoshop hasn't done. Anyway, enjoy. Hi everybody, my name is Michael Gatewood and I'm going through a couple of what you would call Photoshop fails, or Photoshop's history of going in and changing or manipulating images. Now there's no doubt that virtually every actor or actress has wrinkles removed, sometimes to the point of ridiculous. You should always remember that if you're taking away wrinkles or imperfections, that you bring a little bit back in order to keep it from looking overdone or like bad plastic surgery. In this case, it's just a little overworked. I remember actually this particular deal, which was Oprah put on Anne Margaret's body, but it was done in 1989, and this is a few years before Photoshop was actually out on the market. So I believe it was Cytex or Sun Microsystems who created the first digital workstations that probably did this. Believe it or not, for 1989 this was a good job, but TV Guide did not get the permission from Anne Margaret or from Oprah to be able to do this manipulation. Created just a huge scandal. What's interesting is they've been manipulating images since the 1800s, but regardless, this was not done with permission. Going into this one, this was National Geographic's contest on Best Photograph, and of course this was altered. Funny thing is, it wasn't altered that great, where they put in some planes and, well, you know, vapor trail. But what's interesting is that they let it get by with the image being manipulated. Most photo contest manipulations are frowned upon, in fact not allowed. You're supposed to be getting exactly what the environment gave you. That's well, for photography. What was interesting on this shot was Demi Moore had part of her hip removed, and later they thought that her face was actually, or head was put on a different model's body. Regardless, this is a big time mistake with the fact that they didn't go in there and, well, check their manipulation. The next shot is Kate Winslet, which they wanted to thin her down. The big thing is she doesn't like to have her body altered in any of her presentations or, well, shots. This was British GQ, who brought her down in size. What's interesting is that she's in the mirror in the back with a different body type. So again, not paying attention to detail. Then, and I remember this like it was yesterday, actually turning Katie Couric from about a size 8 to a size 4. And they used Liquify and more than likely went in with the pucker tool to kind of just slim things down just a little bit. She took it all in stride and didn't make a big deal about it, but when she was doing the CBS takeover, I'm sure she didn't appreciate that manipulation. That was kind of interesting. This I can't believe actually happened, but it was Vogue China and they cut her leg off in the background. This is just bad Photoshop. The funny thing is that it went through all the proofing processes. Just crazy. This was disturbing, taking Hillary Clinton entirely out of a newspaper ad from a Orthodox Jewish newspaper. To take history and alter it like that, that's just disturbing. And you know, regardless of the agenda, it was inappropriate. Bad use of Photoshop. In this, when they actually took a world leader and positioned him in the front of the pack, and in an Egyptian newspaper. Well, Mubarak, I'm sure, appreciated his power position, but again, historic documents shouldn't be altered like that. Bad use of Photoshop. Kim Kardashian, I guess everyone loves to hate her, but at least she was cool about it. She said she had cellulite, and to remove it, to alter her body a little bit, slim things down a bit, she was cool about it. We also noticed that they lightened her skin tones just a little bit. That may be appropriate. I don't know. I try to avoid things like that. But I do know from shooting professionally that sometimes skin tones will get darker or lighter depending on how you position your lights. And I think what you should try to do is match to reality the best you possibly can. That's the way I feel. This was interesting with Katy Perry, who's a beautiful, beautiful singer and actress. And one thing, though, that I noticed is that they did do a little enhancement in the chest area, and they did take away some moles and imperfections. Smoothing out the skin tones are something that you typically do in Photoshop, but you don't want to go over the top. Any wrinkles that might happen or shadows that are maybe from a bad position as far as positioning the model, I understand that. We've got to be responsible. Really, to be honest, I would have gotten rid of some of the frays in the hair more than I would the total enhancement of the body. I think her first original shot was just fine as far as that goes, but smoothing out the skin tones, I have no problem with that. Getting in here, this was kind of funny. Dove was trying to show real women and real body types, but they still altered the image. What they wanted to do was smooth things out a little bit. And I guess if you're trying to show real women, real skin, then I guess you better find a real photographer to shoot it and stop altering it, or you're going to ruin your ad campaign. This was, again, probably a bad time to over Photoshop something. That was interesting. Ralph Lauren's model, bringing her down to is obviously a size 0. That's incredible. She's already thin, and they brought her down further. I just think it was a bad way of using Photoshop, and it doesn't make the image more attractive. But there again, maybe it's who they're selling to and who's motivated by buying, maybe by body type. It just feels wrong. Getting into the next shot, this was a Russian Orthodox church, and they were actually worried about showing wealth, so they take the watch off. What's interesting is they didn't take it out of the reflection of the table, which I thought was kind of pretty bad, and created more of a scandal by actually removing the watch than probably having it. The bad part is he's wearing a $30,000 watch. I don't know. We need to watch it. What was interesting in this 2004 presidential campaign is the fact that they kept cloning soldiers into the shot, but what they were doing was duplicating the same soldiers, creating this marching soldiers effect of having them over and over again, and bad timing, and bad Photoshop. In this shot, which was probably the #1 Photoshop nightmare, which was actually having the mugshot on the front cover and noticing that the skin tones were darkened on the Time magazine shot to make, I don't know, to make a statement, I guess. Regardless, it was wrong. And Time probably got held out for this one. But what's interesting is that this is early in 1994, early in Photoshop, and really just shows the power that was being used in the, well, production room, and how it was probably not monitored and people were just going crazy. And it was wrong. But anyway, these are some of the 15 bigger Photoshop scandals, and I wanted to review them and also maybe to knock off a couple of them because a couple were actually before Photoshop. My name's Michael Gatewood, and thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.